sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. Welcome, everybody. Hello, my name is Andrew David. This is Blake Newbar's partner program, the High Performance Calls, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern time. So today, a little bit different than normal. Instead of coming in and setting up and preaching at you, I wanted to do a little bit of Q&A. I was given a few questions. I want to follow up with you guys about yesterday. I gave you a challenge. So if you weren't on yesterday's call, please go to YouTube, check it out, look at the video, and then do what we talked about. Now, I know some of you were, though. How many of you took the time to actually, and I know Sama did because she posted it. Kevin, I don't think is here yet, but he did it. How many of you guys took the time and did what we talked about yesterday? We had a few of you. Does anybody want to share kind of what that was like for them?
Yeah, I can talk
Rick,
a little bit quickly. So I'd kind of been through a little bit of the process before, so I made my list and I started going through it again earlier this morning, and I started trying to get rid of more things. And I found there's a lot of things I couldn't get rid of, but what I did find is it's more about prioritizing. So putting things in, like there's really two piles really. One is the highest priority that has to be done right away, the urgent stuff. And then there's stuff that still needs to be done, but it's not urgent. And then there's just stuff you can get away, throw away altogether.
Right.
And so I found that I probably categorized most of my stuff into the first two. There wasn't a lot of stuff I could throw away because I'd already been doing a lot of that stuff.
Okay. Well, so you've been working through it, which is great. And for those of you that maybe missed yesterday, the challenge was we were talking about overwhelm. And so it was kind of in an effort to sit down and do a brain dump, write it all out, highlight the handful of things that were necessary that you had to make sure that you paid attention to, and then just get rid of them. Either, ball it up, throw it away, or go out and burn that piece of paper. Now, I also said that it's something that you can do with negative internal dialogue, blueprints that you've got, things that you think that are detrimental for where you want to be, right? That negative self-talk that we've all got in one way or another. You can write those down and then you can go out and burn it. If you've got negative beliefs about money, if you've got it about success, if you have it about relationships, or the fact that you can have a good relationship and make money and be healthy all at the same time, that you don't need to sacrifice one in order to have the other. So whatever it was, you could write those down. You could go burn those. I did put a comment in, though, that I don't think I addressed yesterday. What our brains tend to do is we've held on to a lot of these beliefs for so long. If you go out and you burn them, and for at least a brief moment, you kind of allow your brain to breathe a little bit. You relieve some of that stress. Because like Rick said a minute ago, we all kind of look for ways to maintain some clutter, even mentally. Our brain's going to try and find a way to fill that void. And it's going to fill it with the things that it's been able to fill it with for a long, long, long time. And so what I suggest doing during that time is taking some of the affirmations that you've been doing over this time, maybe prepping them ahead of time, whatever, but sitting down and reading some of those affirmations to replace what you're trying to get rid of. Okay. You've got to give your brain something to work on and to work through while you're getting rid of the other stuff. So, all right. Did anybody else have an experience yesterday, wanted to share kind of what happened? Aga, go ahead. You nodding your head. Start with you. You're on mute, my darling. Aga, you're on mute still.
Jesus Christ. It was really good. I focused on, after making a list, which was pretty long, I know I have to do all of these things anyway, but I focused on the three important things to do yesterday. And soon after I gave the paper, I just, folded the paper and gave it to my dog to eat. I really felt lighter, and you know what? It was way easier to do the three tasks without think about the very long list I have usually to do. So I'll definitely do that again, and definitely we will do the exercise with also, the belief system, because I have a feeling it will be good.
Good.
Thanks, Andrew.
Excellent. You're welcome. Good. Anybody else?
Andrew, yeah.
Yes. Sue, go ahead.
I've been doing this for several years, not in the same form, but when I go to bed at night, I will, before I meditate, I inhale my gratitude and exhale my negatives.
Good.
And then I go into meditation. So
Good.
I've been doing it for years.
Good. Small ways to cleanse, and then just find that little bit extra. So good. I got to address a couple of questions I was given in email. If you guys have other questions, then we can hit those too. So one of the things I talk about, most of you have probably heard me use a phrase, you got to balance out desperation versus determination. As you're building this business, if you're in a spot where, money is tight because you're not working, then one of the first things that I recommend and Blake recommends is find something that pays bills while you build your dream, right? It's much easier to build something when you're determined and it allows you to focus. And so I bring this up because I brought it up with someone else. And look, guys, I know around the world, I know that it's not saying, hey, go out and get a job. That's great. It may not necessarily be. If you're going all in with something like this, obviously I have no issue with that because I made that choice a few years back myself, right? It hasn't always been easy, but I did it. Now I'm bringing this up because I know you can't necessarily go out and get the job that you want. And if you had the job that you want, you probably wouldn't have been going through this to begin with. But you can get something, and something that pays the bills. And so this is me being as real as I can. And sometimes it upsets people and sometimes people don't want to hear it. And that's fine because it's the reality. I spent years in cleaning and restoration. I've done the 120 hour work weeks. I've done the sleeping in a tent on a cot. I've done disaster cleanup. I've done cleanup in foreclosures and in other homes in places that a lot of you would walk up to the door and turn around and walk away. That's the kind of stuff I used to do all the time. In Tyvek, in gloves, in masks, like taping things off so you're not, so nothing is getting through to your body. It wasn't that I enjoyed it. I mean, you don't walk into some of those houses going, man, I can't wait to clean up a foreclosure where they locked 4 pit bulls in here for multiple weeks before they actually came and got them out. I'm so excited to do that and tear up carpet and tear out drywall because the drywall is soaked with urine up to 2 foot. Ooh, goody. But it paid the bills while I was getting other stuff figured out. Okay. So when I talk about, I'm not saying you got to enjoy what you're doing at the beginning, but sometimes you just need to pay bills that allowed you to build a dream. Okay.
Other thing is that depending on the country you live in some countries, if, for example, you lost job during COVID or generally, if you're starting a business, in some countries you have schemes helping entrepreneurs. So if you can show that your business is potentially viable and make a good business plan, you actually have good support. Now you have to check the legal constraints because, for example, in Ireland, to get some support like that, you cannot even seem like you're trading. But if you're cooperative and if you prove them, okay, this is the future cash flow, you actually get some basic support for your income for up to 2 years if you continuously work and improve your business. So there are little legal
there are all over the world. There's help like that. I'm not saying you got to go do what I was doing. I'm simply saying that there's something you can find to just lighten the load a little bit, right? It doesn't have to be, I'm not saying go out and get a job there's options out there is kind of what I'm saying. Now, let's assume you get in that place where we're able to balance the desperation and determination, right? And so you can build this up. Now, how far can you take it? What's realistic? What's possible? Because there's a big, and I've talked about this before, there's a whole pendulum swing of what's possible and what you can achieve versus how willing you are to go out and do that work. Now, if you're in a position where, let's say money's a little tight, and so you're not going to be running ads. You're going to do it through organic traffic, right? You're going to build your business organically. Well, then I need to make someone had a restoration business for 9 years, sewage backups. Yeah, we can reminisce at some point, Diego, we can talk. It's just, Anyway, as you guys are going through this, if the route you're going is organic, and we always recommend starting organic. Part of the reason for that, guys, strategy wise, start your business organically, start posting in groups organically, start posting on your page organically, because you can figure out what people resonate with. It's a great way to test it out as opposed to paying for an ad where you're testing things. Figure out how people are going to react, and then you run an ad with that, right? So a little while ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something, I threw out an idea and said, hey, if you're going to go organic and you want to really get some results, here's something you can do for the next 60 days. You guys remember, I know some of you guys heard me say this. I said 3 to 7 posts a week, 3 to 7 reels or videos a week, and 5 to 10 stories on your Facebook or Instagram. Guys, that's a crap ton of content. I get it. I understand that. I fully do. We also have within the partner program 240 different posts that you can use. I've given you content that you can use. You can take clips from this. You could do like Denise did the other day when we were on with Darren, and she's filming and going, look, I'm getting trained, guys. Look, that could turn into 30 seconds of that is 2 stories. How hard was that to hold up your phone and do that? 10 stories is a total of 150 seconds. It's 2.5 minutes worth of content, right? Yesterday was National Dog Day. How hard would it have been to post a picture of your dog or some other dog being cute, right? I got a dozen DMs from people because I posted pictures of Winston and the dogs. Oh my gosh, so adorable. Guess what? Now that they DM me, anything that I post on my page is probably going to show up in their newsfeed. Guys, it doesn't have to be as complicated as I want. If the level of content that I'm expressing right now scares you, don't do as much. And it's going to be okay. Right? We're still going to wake up tomorrow. Your page is still going to be there. You can post a little bit less, and that's going to be all right. I'm just giving you ways. Sometimes when I talk about Instagram or I'm talking about LinkedIn, I'm giving you additional things that you can do. And I know if you sit down and you look at the entire thing, it can get overwhelming. So keep it simple until you get the hang of it. And that's all right. Just be patient with yourselves, right? So anyway, there was a couple of things, and I don't know if, person that watches that asks the questions may or may not agree. And that's okay, guys. Like, I want to give you the reality of things, and I will motivate you when I can motivate you. I will inspire when I can inspire, and I will, push when I need to push, because sometimes we just need a push, right? So on that note, does anybody have any questions about content, about brand, about ideas, about any of the training that we've done recently on keeping yourself from being overwhelmed, on, time management, personal growth, any of those things?
Andrew, where can I find examples of posts that you were talking about in the program?
So in the program, there's a couple of different places. You have, I can't remember the exact section because you got in the accelerator. So obviously in the Traffic Secrets Masterclass, you've got some stuff inside the Facebook section. There's some training. I want to say it's section 11. I can't remember the module in the accelerator, but you've got stuff for groups, and then you have engagement posts. So you've got a month's worth of stuff there. You have under the launch section. So in, it might be like 12 in the accelerator section. There's going to be some Facebook ad images that you can use. And you don't have to run an ad with some of those images. It could just be a post. And then you've got stuff in the masterclass as well. So it's kind of spread out. But inside the Facebook training, there's a month's worth of posts right there. Easiest way to do it. Like, start there. That's a month.
All right.
Monday through Friday. Here you go for the next 4 weeks. So who else? Nobody? Everybody's good? We're solid? We're rocking and rolling?
Andrew?
Yes. Go ahead.
Could you say how much you should be posting, the number of content? You said like 10 different.
Yeah, so one, I was talking about the stories with that. So 5 to 10 a day if you can, 4 to 10. I mean, whatever you can. Stories, Facebook and Instagram are giving priority to stories because people are looking at them. And so it gets people to stay on the app longer, right? You got to understand, from the whole algorithm. There's no way to hack it, change it. Like, it is what it is. It's the AI, right? You're not going to be more intelligent than the AI.
It's not hackable anymore. It used to be you could play with it, but it's just went so sophisticated that basically what Andrew says, like persistence. If you think that old tricks work, they're absolutely gone.
Yeah, what you need to do. So if I'm posting on my story and someone interacts with it, or someone messages me, if I message and they respond, then my stuff's going to show up on their page, right? Because Facebook's like, oh, they're interacting. Oh, Rick's watching Andrew's stuff, so Rick is more likely to see my items. It's like Aga's done a handful of mine, and so I've cheered her on with hers. So now she's one of the first ones that pops up when I open up my Instagram. You guys can do the same thing. You do that with some of the pages that you're looking to interact with, or individuals. So the stories can be helpful. A story can be an image that you leave a comment on. It could be, you can do a poll. Where you ask yes and no questions, or you ask questions where people type in an answer, or just the sliding scale where it's this scale and people put their finger on it and they push it all the way over. Like, oh, that's hot, or I love it, it's cute, whatever. Like, there's all sorts of different things. Those stories become effective ways to begin to build that engagement, though. So I recommend, this isn't me just recommending it. This is a lot of different things that I study as well. Multiple stories a day. Now it can be you and you talking. It could be other things. Go ahead, Aga.
Girls, anytime you want to bloody buy something, right? Or order or online, and you're not sure, just post a story with voting this or that. One of the highest conversions, because people love giving their opinion. They just love it.
Yeah. And you will see it. Say what, Rick?
They love what did she say?
So if you're buying something, right, you go, which one of these is better, right? Do I want the red dress or the white dress? Do I want the black hat, the white hat? Do you prefer, what's that?
What surveys you mean?
Yeah. So on your story, you can pick, and you can do this on Facebook and on Instagram. So I can put here, let's say I'm on Instagram and I'm going to add a story, right? So everybody sees me here, and we're going to do, whatever. Now you can come up here. There's different things. So one of them you can pick, and there's all of these different options. You have questions. You have this slide here. So I can do this, right? Oh, well, people would push it all the way over. You could do questions. You could do a poll, and the poll is just yes or no, or blue or white, or this or that. Like, show 2 luxury homes. Do they want the home on the beach or the one in the mountains, right? It's just, if you go to look at stories, because all of you guys have access to stories, right? Every single one of you. If you have a Facebook page, all you need to do is go to the top of the screen and you can see them, right? Does everybody know where those are? Has everybody seen them? I'll show you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Andrew, that's a Facebook simple. Live?
Not Facebook Live. I'm talking about a Facebook story.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, like, this is mine. This is a girl I know that does triathlons, but you can look at stories. Let me see here. All right. So here's a guy I know. Anyway, so he sells dog items. So he's got all of this stuff, right? That's all stories are. Right? That's it. But if you go through those and you look, you'll see some that'll have polls. You'll see some that have questions. You'll see all of these different things. Just mimic what other people are doing. If you see one that kind of makes you laugh or that you interact with, do something similar, right? If it works, it works. So the point is just get used to what Facebook gives you that allows you to build up an audience, because there's stuff there. Right? You can take your post and post it on your story. Yeah, say what, Rick?
I have another quick question unrelated to stories, but one thing I've been looking for is I've been looking for some curated content from influencers, people who get a lot of engagement. I've been kind of reposting some of their stuff. People who have like big followers that are related to my niche, and so I find that's one way to that's not just another angle to look at. The site when finding sometimes helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you start to borrow some of their audience. You know, there's a guy that I've been following forever that's in the fitness niche. And
Who is
he
that?
went from-
I'm looking at myself, unless you don't want to give him away.
what's that?
Who is that? Do you want to give him or not give him away?
His name's Bedros Killian. You can go follow him. So he started as a personal trainer. He built up a company called Fit Body Boot Camp. He franchised it. He became an Inc. 500, one of the top franchises in the country. Built it up. But I met him through a Joe Polish event that I've mentioned before, Piranha Marketing. I met him at, he came in and speak, and this was 12 years ago or something. But since then, he's done coaching and he does these other events. Well, I shared something that he shared. He messaged me. We end up talking, got on a call with him this week, he's got a mastermind that I'm thinking about joining I've already got something booked every month for the rest of this year. So it'll be next year. But, it's just, there's ways to build relationships if you do certain things, guys. And it goes to engagement that I can borrow from, posting Bedros's thing ends up getting me a little bit of tiny exposure as well. There's things that you can do to build your audience. There's things that you can do to build relationships. Just find ways to add value.
Yeah, I'm using things like Content Studio and Vazumo and things like that for finding out what's engaging and what's not working, what is working. So find the influencers, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Filter a lot by that kind of thing. And I do have to run. I got another meeting right at 10:30.
Yeah, we're just about done. So here's what I want to do. So next week, guys, for the video calls, okay, we had Winnie went yesterday. I don't know if she's still on. She was on a minute ago. I saw her. Jens was here too. He's still there. Okay. So and I had a couple other people on yesterday. And we were just kind of chatting and talking about how to do it, guys. What I'm looking at, again, you have an opportunity over the course of the next few weeks. I'm still going to do one or two each week. Next week will probably be on Thursday evening time again. The following week, I will do an early time and an evening time.
Well,
Okay.
like 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
6 to 7 p.m. Thursday next week is what we'll do. What it is an opportunity to hop on and say, Andrew, here's a couple of questions I want you to ask me. And I will ask them. And then you get to kind of riff about your niche, about social media, about some event that's going on in the world that relates to your niche, about why you decided you wanted to start working for yourself and how you can help, whatever it is. Just say, here's the question I want to ask. And then I want to allow you to kind of go and talk. And you want, just a handful of 30 to 60 second long audio, right? That's what we're looking for. And then we'll take it, we'll edit it up. So I've got, I gave Forrest his this morning. I've got Denise's, I think, ready to go. Michael should be just about ready as well. And then he's working on Winnie's. But the point is you've got a chance to come out. It's just content, guys. If you want to use this to film an ad where you want to say, well, that's what I want to use it for, because you want to put out an ad. There are ways to write a script for an ad, and we give you some of that training inside of the dashboard, but you'll want to talk about their pain point, the solution that you bring, and hey, you better act now. And I'll try it. If you get it to me ahead of time and say, this is what I'm looking for, I'll play around with it with you to try and give you some ideas on how that would be. But like that'd be your time to do it. And I'll give you the fair shot. My request is, like I've told all of you, but everybody that's done it has done what I've asked. I just want you guys active here. Okay. I just want you here.
I did
being active with this and other stuff.
I did send you an email with some questions. It's probably kind of long, so maybe just select things that might be figure appropriate. But I've given you some choice. I wouldn't say go through all of it because it would take too long. But I sent you some stuff.
Yeah, we want to pick, guys. 60 seconds goes a lot quicker than you think. So a couple of questions will probably get it there. Someone asked me to post them in the Skype group. I'll go ahead and post the recent ones in there. I think I put Forrest. Well, here, I had Forrest up last night. Yeah, I'll just post it in the Skype chat so you guys can see them. Okay?
I got
that. Go ahead.
Andrew,
Yeah.
I posted on my art gallery thing that I talked to you about yesterday.
Right.
Something that I thought might work really well for mine. So
Okay.
I'll try to get that to you. See what you think of it.
Okay. All right.
And
On that note,
did you
guys,
get a chance on that book?
I
Look
haven't
at it?
yet. No, I've got a list of. It's one that I'll add to it. I typically get about one book recommendation a week, and I read.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm normally reading 2 to 3 a week, but I've still got a list to work through. So
Yeah, it's a really good book. I'm just finishing up on it. So
yeah. So on that note, guys, this weekend go out and do some awesome stuff. If you haven't yet, watch the video from yesterday. Work on that list. Go out and burn it. There is a chance Monday. Just look out for an email ahead of the call. If you don't get an email, plan on being on the call. If you see an email ahead of time, I may have a video filmed for you. It kind of depends on how the Wi-Fi is where we are. So on that note, everybody go out, be fantastic. Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.